Hi guys, welcome back to my channel. I'm Lulu and this is Football Fields, and today I will be discussing some of La Liga's newest transfers that are definitely making waves. So this past transfer market, Real Madrid maybe didn't have the best, but a lot of other teams did recruit some youngsters, including ourselves actually. And so today I'll just be discussing 4 names that have been doing quite great things for their teams, and it's only their first season in La Liga. Welcome to La Liga, kids. So this list is in no particular order, but I think if you watch La Liga, then these are definitely 4 names that you have now gotten used to, but for the most part some of these names are already known. First player I'll be talking about is Melo. So he's playing for Barcelona and he is only 22 years old and already having made such a significant difference to the team. So I said in my last video, I think, or one of the videos where I was ranting, the one about our Clasico, and I was just saying how he fits so perfectly into their regarding their style of play and just the Barcelona philosophy. And so he's actually been donned the young and fresh and like new Xavi, and it's so crazy because Xavi himself has actually commented on these things and said that when he sees him, so he said, I see myself when I see him on the television, he is a very quick thinker. And I think if you watch him play, you definitely see this. And this is actually something that Messi himself has said, where he said he didn't know much about the player before, but now having seen him, he is actually really impressed. Which I'm not gonna lie, if Messi were to be impressed by how you play, I mean, bruh. The 31 million might have been a steal, considering that he not only fits into their philosophy perfectly, but this current market is actually ridiculous regarding how much people end up playing for players. I mean, my lord. So attributes that we've seen when watching him is that not only does he have really good ball control and is capable of making those passes, like short passes without losing the ball, but he is also very he's a visionary in the sense that he is able to spot spaces, and not only spot them but figure out a way to, like, I don't know, provide a threaded pass that might be even hidden to get it to his player. And that's really impressive, especially for 22. And he's also really mature and like level-headed, like really composed, so he doesn't even feel somewhat threatened when he is being surrounded, because he's still, even in that situation, able to think about what to do before actually carrying it out. And I think that goes back to what Xavi was saying about him being a very quick thinker. But he's really exciting to watch and very good, and only 22 years old. So the Brazilian definitely has some things left to show us. So the second player I'll be talking about is Vinicius Jr. So like I said earlier, Real Madrid didn't really go all out regarding spending and the search for Galacticos. But Vinicius Jr., my friends, he was really expensive, I won't lie. He actually cost more than Arthur at a 43 million, like a whopping 43 million. However, having watched him, I'm like, he's a kind of potential that, like, if we can get him, someone else would have. And watching him play, he has very quickly become a fan favorite, receiving a like standing ovation basically every single time he touches a pitch. And if you know Real Madrid fans, then you know that they are very, very particular and not necessarily the nicest. Facts are facts. He is a very skillful player, and I think it's something that we've been missing quite a bit since Marcelo has been injured, and he has given us all that Brazilian flair and some, doing some skill moves that I'm even like, okay, let's slow it down, keep it together, pass, but at the same time you're just like, but that was nice though, okay. The youngster is somewhat of an unorthodox player when you compare him to the others, in the sense that if you watch him, there are certain situations and key passes that he tries to play that others are somewhat dumbfounded by, because it's almost like, oh, that's what you wanted to do, I didn't see that coming, but okay. Not to say that he hasn't provided. If you've been watching, he has made a lot of key passes and actually has an assist to his name in La Liga at the moment, which is fantastic. He's also really fortunate in the sense that Solari has now become the manager of Real Madrid, and having been the coach at Castilla, he has a strong belief in using the youth, and we've seen this by his introduction of Sancho, Rodriguez, and Reguilon. I don't know how to say his name, but he's good. And so he's actually given Vinicius Jr more minutes already than he had played under Lopetegui, which is really impressive considering that we've only had him for 3 games. I'm super excited to see more involvement from this player as well as more skills, because I mean, it's so nice. The third player I'll be talking about is Andre Silva. So he has been done the heir, like Cristiano Ronaldo's heir for Portugal, and he obviously didn't have the best of seasons last season. It was pretty bad. And now it's almost as though he wants to prove himself not only to critics but just to all of us that he is actually worth being noted as one of the youngsters to watch. He isn't that young anymore. Like, he's young, but he's not like Mbappe young anymore. He recently turned 23, but I must say that he has finally seemed to break out of his shell and do what we were waiting for. So he's definitely stepping up to the challenge, having racked up 7 goals in his 10 appearances in La Liga thus far, which makes him joint 3rd in terms of the top scorers alongside Messi. I mean, hi, that's a pretty nice position to be in, am I right? In Serie A, he only netted twice last season. And I mean, he was able to surpass that within 79 minutes of his La Liga career, having bagged a hat-trick in his first game. He's definitely got his confidence back, and that means that there's only more in store for Andre Silva, which is really exciting for the rest of us. The final player that I'll be discussing today is Thomas Lemar. He is probably what was the most anticipated transfer of this market, as he was the most expensive, having Atletico ball out with 70 million. I think one of their most expensive buys in their history, if not their most expensive. Can't quite remember. So there was not only the anticipation regarding his price tag, but also the whole idea of like he was supposed to come, then he couldn't come, so he stayed at Monaco, and we were all like, when's he gonna come? And then he came, and now we were like, okay, what are you gonna do? He's already scored twice and given an assist, but I think if you watch him, that's where the real question of, was he worth the hype comes in, because stats can be misleading. But my friends, he has definitely lived up to the hype, and this is something that has been evident because not only has he been ridiculously flexible regarding what Atletico have asked of him, but he has done what very few players have been able to do in the history of Atletico Madrid. He has already established a key role in Simeone's team, having already gotten a regular set of, I don't know, minutes within his first 11 matches, which is something that has only happened a handful of times in the Simeone era. Also, he has played more minutes than any other transfer from this past market. So that's also like, yeah, pretty evident that he is doing the dang thing. Other players that were able to fulfill that whole thing of 11 matches becoming a regular were players like David Villa, Mario Mandzukic, and Kevin Gamero. So it's not like players that didn't matter, you know what I'm saying? It's the players that mattered, you know. Hi. Like I said, he's been fitting into the Atletico philosophy quite well. If you watch Atletico, you know that not only are they an attacking team, but they're also quite defensive. And so we've actually seen Lemar change his game a little bit, in the sense that he not only goes forward now, but he is able to fall back and help in terms of the defense. Anyway guys, those are 4 players that I have thought have been really exciting in their first season with their respective teams in La Liga. They are pretty young, with the oldest of all of them being Andre Silva at 23, and so that means that there's definitely more in store for them. I hope you liked this video. If you did, give it a thumbs up. I will check you soon. Live your best life, don't let the haters hold you back, and stay tuned for more of my football feels.